Now Bakersfield. Chris?
Topping our lineup here on the Now, high drug prices are forcing some people to skip their medication, but there's a safer way to cut costs, and we're looking at why drug prices may not be coming down as quickly as we'd all like and what you can do about it. And there's a new tool trying to make it easier to communicate with someone who has dementia. How one app is using images from the past to spark a new conversation. And boy, the CBD industry, it is just booming across the country right now. But the big question with all of it, is it just a fad or just the beginning?
Good evening. Parents could soon see a change in what time their middle and high school age kids start class. A new bill passed through the state Senate this week that would have school start after 8:30. The Now's Leslie Gooden met with a local doctor today who says this change could have some benefits.
The bill still needs to pass through the state assembly before heading to the governor's desk. But today I spoke with a local pediatrician who says that if this bill does become law, it will help teens' overall health.
A new bill is moving through the state capitol that would give teenagers extra time to sleep on school nights. Senate Bill 328 would require the school day for middle schools and high schools, including charter schools, to begin no earlier than 8:30 a.m. Supporters say health and safety concerns are a big reason to make the change.
No, I think I'm very happy that legislatures are looking at this issue, considering delaying the time. I think it'll benefit the society the most.
Dr. Hitesh Shah, a Bakersfield pediatrician, says about 15% of children take up to 2 hours longer to fall asleep compared to people at other ages.
They have a delay in sleep time, so they cannot go to sleep early because of the hormonal changes that they have. And that's what really leads them to sleep late and wake up late.
Hitesh says throughout his 29 years of practice, he constantly hears from his adolescent patients that they are not getting enough sleep and recommends that children get at least 9 hours of sleep daily.
I really noticed that kids actually do well on Monday, Tuesday, but as the week goes by, they seem to be more tired and more irritable and cranky.
And he wants to remind parents that a child who's constantly falling asleep throughout the day may have other factors going on.
At least have to be evaluated. There could be other medical problems that could cause them that, or there could be issues with the sleep issues. So they may want to look into that before they even label this child lazy.
Like we mentioned, the bill is still moving through the legislation process, and we will continue to follow the latest developments and bring them to you here on turn23.com. For the Now, I'm Leslie Gooden, 23 ABC, connecting you.
Thousands of pounds of food is being saved from the trash can through the Waste Hunger Not Food program, where local schools and students spread a little human kindness to those in need. Today, a celebration of the program was held at Virginia Avenue Elementary School in East Bakersfield. Since the program has been up and running for a full year now, school officials say they are extremely proud of the program because they noticed just how much healthy, good food was being tossed into trash cans every day. Rather than throw it out, they decided to put it to good use, partnering with the county to get the food to those who need it most. Michael Coleman, the school superintendent, says the kids are excited about the program and love helping out the community.
This is something where staff and students and a community can just all be proud of what we do. I mean, this is a community schools. I mean, our parents that live here, their kids that go to school here, this is something they're all participating in. The kids are just really excited when they know that something good is happening. Kids by nature are good, and they're excited when something like that is going on. So, yeah, they're just real excited to be a part of something good.
Through the Waste Hunger Not Food program, students from kindergarten through 6th grade have helped rescue nearly 26,000 pounds of food. It is graduation season, and a group of some very good boys with the California Highway Patrol will be turning their tassels this Friday at a special ceremony. The CHP will be holding a grad ceremony for 5 of their K-9 officers this Friday in Sacramento. This is the first of 2 graduations this year for dogs trained in handler protection and narcotics detection. The K-9s completed 11 weeks of intensive training at the CHP Academy, where we of course are sure the dogs will help make some positive impacts in their communities. So cute. Well, last week we told you about local country band the Smokin Armadillos reuniting for a concert for the first time in years. Well, that show sold out so fast that the band has now added a second show. Check this out.
It's not up to me or you, so don't even try. Don't ask yourself why. Let your heart lead your mind.
Oh yeah, that was one of the Armadillos' biggest hits, Let Your Heart Lead Your Mind. The band was created by 6 local musicians with a love of country back in the 1990s, and after creating a handful of hits and touring, the band decided to go on hiatus in 2005. But now they want to relive the magic, announcing a reunion show. Their concert on Friday, October 4th at the Fox Theater is sold out, but the band has added a second show on Saturday, October 5th. Tickets are on sale right now and start at just $35.
Despite having some sort of health insurance coverage, nearly a quarter of older people are trying to find more ways to reduce their prescription drug costs. A CDC study found nearly 18% of adults 65 and older have asked their doctor to substitute a cheaper medication instead. And even more alarming, nearly 5% didn't take their meds as prescribed in order to save money. Now that could mean skipping doses, taking a smaller dose, or delaying getting the prescription filled. Annie Taylor showing us why some of these drug prices are just so slow to come down.
Our partners at PolitiFact took a look at what people are paying for prescription drugs and who's making money off them. They found that although Americans spend about $460 billion a year on prescription drugs, out-of-pocket costs are actually falling. Now, in 2013, the average out-of-pocket cost for a filled prescription was just over $10. In 2017, it was less than $9. But PolitiFact says there are a couple reasons for this. Use of generics is becoming more widespread, and more rebates are out there. And the Affordable Care Act has helped protect some of the costs. Now, while the average out-of-pocket is less than $9, there are many drugs, some of which can mean life or death to a patient, that cost much more. PolitiFact found that the difficulty in lowering prices seems to be partly because there are so many players. Now, according to the Pew Charitable Trust, the drug makers still come out on top when it comes to making money off of prescription drugs. They get about 60% share. Pharmacies follow with 22.5%, and benefit managers, health plans, and wholesalers are all getting a much smaller piece of the pie. And the pharmaceutical industry presence in Washington, D.C. is strong. PolitiFact found that it spent $281 million on lobbying just last year. That's more than any other group.
All right, Andy, thank you. Getting back to our lineup, the CBD industry is just booming across the country right now. But the big question we're looking into, is this just a fad or is it just the beginning? You're watching The Now. Let's start the Now News feed with more than 100 public health and anti-tobacco groups calling on major social media companies to stop allowing tobacco ads on their platforms. Groups are pointing to young social media influencers pushing Philip Morris's products. Philip Morris did recently suspend its social media marketing campaign. Democratic presidential hopeful Kirsten Gillibrand is proposing a family bill of rights. She wants to make adoptions, high-tech fertility treatments, and maternal care more accessible. She says it would be paid for by a 0.1% tax on things like stock purchases. Well, we're getting closer to self-driving delivery vans, but apparently also getting closer to robot delivery people. This is Digit. Ford partnered with the company that makes this robot. It can carry up to 40 pounds. The company's actually hoping for a 2021 launch. Well, investigators may have a harder time cracking cold cases with the help of GED Match. It's a third-party genealogy site, and it has helped law enforcement by giving DNA information. But users will need to opt into the database now, and they also need to manually upload their own DNA information. Other companies like Ancestry and 23andMe, they do not allow police to search DNA samples. In an emergency, it can take first responders 8 to 10 minutes to get there. And you think in that same amount of time, someone could bleed out. But what if you knew what to do? You could be an immediate responder and you could save lives. This month is the first Stop the Bleed month. It's a worldwide program that gets regular people trained to apply life-saving first aid in the case of a serious wound. Trainees learn 3 steps to respond to when someone is bleeding out, which is apply pressure, pack the wound, and use a tourniquet. Well, the idea for Stop the Bleed, it grew out of the Sandy Hook shooting back in 2012. And not only are those skills important in a case like a mass shooting, but also when you think of incidents like a car crash or even a cooking accident at home. The program's manager says if you aren't sure about being trained, think of who you could save.
You may not ever help a stranger on the street. You may not be able to just run upon a scene of an accident and do stop the bleed measures. But could you do it to your own family, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your wife, your partner? That's who you may have to help one day. And if you have these skill set, you will be able to help them.
Now, free classes are available all across the country all year long, and it's not just going on this month. What you want to do is go to bleedingcontrol.org and make sure you click on Find a Class.
A new health report says that fewer American adults are dying of cancer, but more people are dying from heart disease. The report, which was published by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, found cancer deaths have dropped by a staggering 19% between 1999 and 2017. Heart disease saw a 22% dip from 1999 to 2011, but then rose by 4% by 2017. Experts say the rise is likely related to growing obesity rates. Health officials say heart disease is preventable if you take some simple steps. Doctors recommend exercising, keeping blood pressure in check, not smoking, and maintaining your weight. This past weekend, Pooches strutted their stuff on the runway to raise money for local shelters and pet rescues. Tonight, we learned just how successful they were. Strut with a Mutt was held on Sunday in East Bakersfield through Bakersfield Positive Connections. There, pets from local shelters hit the catwalk wearing daring fashions alongside local officers, veterans, community members, and first responders to help raise money and, of course, find them their forever homes. Tonight, the Kern County Sheriff's Office says Strut with a Mutt brought in more than $2,500, benefiting 2 shelters and 6 local rescues. So cute. Love that. All right, let's take a live look at downtown Bakersfield. This is almost deceiving, Allison.
I know.
The change from this morning to now, that's crazy.
I know. Can you believe it? Not too bad of an afternoon, but boy, was it a cold day across Kern County, especially here in Bakersfield. So we actually set a record for a cool afternoon high. So the old record was a high of 68 degrees back in 2010. Today, though, we beat that with a high of 66 here in Bakersfield. So definitely chilly, and we are going to be feeling those cool temperatures, well, at least below seasonal for the next several days. We were tracking that low pressure system over the region today. That's what brought some action to the mountains. Snow, actually, by the time they were waking up. And we are going to be seeing the chance for that wraparound moisture on Thursday as this low pressure system still hangs out in the region, bringing us here in the valley the chance for some afternoon thunderstorms. But that system is going to be clearing as we head into your Friday. That means mostly dry conditions with actually warming temperatures nearing 80 degrees. But right now, tracking the chance for just some spotty showers up in Lake Isabella as well as into Hatchpee. But potentially some more rain up in the Ridgecrest area, and that's going to be continuing as we head into the next several hours. Actually, overnight tonight, we are going to be seeing the chance for some snow showers up in Lake Isabella by around midnight. Then that is going to be clearing. We're going to be seeing those clear conditions by the time you're waking up, heading out to work for your Thursday. But like I said earlier, afternoon thunderstorms are in the forecast as we head anywhere from 2 p.m. until 8 p.m. on Thursday. And then, like we saw, that system is going to be clearing well out of the region. But thankfully, it brought good air quality to us here in Bakersfield, and that's going to be the case again tomorrow. But then we have graduation season, so graduation's happening this evening again for your Thursday and Friday, and you can see those evening temperatures are slowly warming for each of those days, but we are tracking the chance to see scattered showers at any of those graduations. So that's something that we will be continuing to track. But look at this. Relatively dry conditions in store for your Friday with temperatures right on the border of that 80-degree mark. Then cooling down as we head into your Memorial Day weekend because we are tracking yet another system with a high of 71 degrees by Monday. But look at this. Warming significantly and drying as we head into your Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll have a high of 84 degrees by next week. Chris?
This week, a new study found CBD is effective in treating heroin addiction. It's the latest CBD news and what seems like just a constant stream of it. The industry is expanding at an incredible rate, and our Chris Welch spent time with a company investing big in CBD, and he looks at why this industry could be brewing up big dollars for years to come.
We started with the intention of being a specialty coffee roaster, and we are. But shortly thereafter, we introduced something special into our line of coffees.
The not-so-secret ingredient is cannabidiol, commonly known as CBD.
Many people get jittery when they drink coffee, and CBD helps to balance that out.
Andrew Amott is co-founder of Strava Craft Coffee, where 95% of their product line is now CBD-infused. CBD is a component of hemp. It's part of the same family of plants as marijuana. But ingesting CBD won't get you high, and those who use it swear by its medicinal properties.
Small amounts and medium amounts of CBD help the body to stay calm, not get jittery, stay focused and productive, and start to help with the aches and pains that some of us do feel.
This year, they've upgraded to a coffee roaster 5 times bigger because people are buying more than ever.
Is this a fad? Is this just, kind of a flash in the pan? But it's really just the beginning because CBD can fit into so many different angles and so many different industries.
Bethany Gomez is a market analyst with a company that tracks CBD sales. She says that while, yes, we've already seen CBD used in everything from oils to beauty products to beer, even pet treats, we're about to see even more, thanks to the passage of the 2018 Farm Bill, which legalized hemp on a federal level.
We have not seen the tip of the iceberg. Up until through the end of 2018, it was only being sold through these small little smoke shops and independent natural food stores and tiny little vitamin shops.
For context, CBD was a $620 million industry in 2018. But now that large corporations can get in on CBD, the industry could be worth $22 billion by 2022.
Right now, people think of it as a miracle cure-all that will fix everything. I've seen things like, I have 99 problems and CBD cured about 86 of them. That may not be quite true, but, I think there's enough of a push and enough kind of anecdotal evidence to support that that it works for a lot of people for a lot of things.
There is so much more demand for CBD coffee or CBD anything these days.
There is. There's a national and international conversation happening about CBD.
Brewing up a craze that just might be here to stay. Reporting in Denver, I'm Chris Welch.
All right, Chris, thank you. Let's get to the news here. Just a terrible story out of an Illinois zoo where a flamingo had to be put down after an elementary school student threw a rock in its exhibit this week. The rock broke the flamingo's leg. The zoo said it's now working with the boy's family to make sure this is a learning experience. Unreal video here of a chase in LA. Take a look at this. A woman trying to outrun police. That is a stolen RV. And to make matters even scarier, a dog looking out the shattered windshield of that RV. The dog actually bailed at one point. Does believe that the dog is okay. There was another dog on board who wasn't hurt. Now, the woman did crash. She was arrested. Another driver was also hurt. Washington now the first state where it's legal for a body to be composted instead of buried or cremated. Supporters say it's a more eco-friendly way for a body to become soil. The law is going to go into effect a year from now. Both Uber and Lyft continue to make changes to try and make rides safer. Lyft just added a panic button on its app that allows riders to call 911. It also shows a bigger picture of the driver's license plate. That's to help stop people from getting into the wrong car. Uber recently also added 911 assistance and other safety upgrades. You will recall a college student was murdered this year when she got into a car that she thought was an Uber. And you do need to consider the safety of the car itself when using rideshare services. Consumer Reports recently checked vehicle records in New York and Seattle for Uber and Lyft, and they found 1 in 6 have an open safety recall. Some were as serious as the Takata airbags. Now, Uber and Lyft told Consumer Reports that they have taken steps to address unfixed recalls. Consumer Reports is calling on the government to ban rideshare vehicles with any safety recall from picking up passengers. All right, finally in our lineup today, there is a new tool trying to make it easier to communicate with those who have dementia. How this app is using images from the past to spark a new conversation. More companies are getting into the business of tracking your health, and they won't need wearable technology to do it. Comcast wants to track your vitals through an in-home device. So far, we know that the device would have sensors that could detect things like how often people make trips to the bathroom or just how long they're sleeping. Comcast also wants to detect falls with this device. It's mostly intended for older people as well as those with disabilities. Family members of caregivers of people with dementia sometimes find it difficult to talk to that person. A new app is aiming to help spark conversations by drawing on images from the past. It's called My House of Memories. National Museums Liverpool started it, and Minnesota Historical Society brought it to the United States. Now, there are images in the app from the 1920s through the 1980s. We're talking food, advertisements, clothing, pop culture, and the idea is to give caregivers a chance to look at these images and to show them to the person with dementia, and the hope is that it sparks a conversation, not just with questions like, do you remember that? They want really it to be about questions of what they remember and they can relate to with a picture. There's also a spot where people can upload their own pictures to try and bring memories back. Now, according to the Elder Care Alliance, recent memories do tend to deteriorate first in people with dementia or Alzheimer's. Well, recalling older memories, like using the House of Memories app, lets them talk about what's important to them, and it can also help relieve boredom and symptoms of depression. Now, the House of Memories, it is free to download. You can find it on the App Store and Google Play. Well, nearly 2/3 of public housing across America was built in the 1970s or even earlier than that. And now the Trump administration is considering cutting federal funding for repairs to those homes. Tomorrow, we're taking a look at the impact that this could have.
And coming up after the break, we're going to look at our forecast once again. We know more rain is on the way, but when we may see 80s coming up next.
We had a very cold and gloomy day across Kern County today. Actually, here in Bakersfield, a high of 66 degrees. So it's going to be much, quote unquote, warmer tomorrow, back to the 70s. But we are tracking the chance to see isolated thunderstorms in the afternoon and then another round this weekend.
But maybe the 80s later.
Yes.
All right. Looking forward to that. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you at 11 tonight.